Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.
Hey, fine folks, this is Freedom Fighter, and welcome to Saturday Night Dialogues. It is March the 1st, 2025. We have a jam-packed call tonight. I want to make sure that we move as efficiently and quickly as possible to get through it. I'm going to jump into some prayer, get into our announcements, and rock and roll. Father God, we thank you. As always, we thank you and give you great gratitude for allowing us to be here collectively. We ask you, Father God, I want to ask a special request and prayer of you, Father, to give people the peace that they're going to need in the next several days and weeks, as information is going to be and has been shared with them to give people the impression of certain things happening with the RV that the facts actually show that are not accurate. There are going to be people that are going to be distraught. Their anxiety is going to be extremely high, but they're going to be let down. And we ask that you give them the grace they need. There are many people that are well-meaning, and there are many people that are suffering. There are people that are doing everything they can to make ends meet, pay their bills, take care of their families. Many people are making life choices based on what they're hearing on the internet about the RV, and they're making these choices based on what they're hearing, not based on the actual facts that you have authored to present to the people. We ask that you give us the grace and the voice to be able to bring that information of facts to the people and that they receive it. We know that everything we share is not for everyone, because the truth is not for everyone, because many may not want to receive it. Father God, you yourself are the one who brought truth. Many didn't want to receive it. But we know that thousands and thousands of years later, people do receive it. We ask that you give us that same level of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to provide it, and people receive it. In your precious name we pray, amen. All right, folks, let's get into some quick announcements. Of course, we have the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues Room. Yep, that has been copycatted, that has been duplicated, imitated, but definitely cannot be repeated because there's only one. That is the room where the real Goldilocks QFS Dialogues Room. That's where we break down Goldilocks articles. That's where we share love and happiness with each other. That's where we educate our members how they are able to establish relationships with the actual bankers who are responsible for the RV, who will facilitate the exchanges. Our members are actually meeting these people, sharing information with them. And the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues Room, where Wiley, myself, and the tribe, we are there every day, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Saturday. And then we have D's room, where D drops articles around the clock from the globe and what's happening in the global finance system. We have Dave in the crypto finance room, Dave Big Dog, where anything related to crypto, that's the room where you go and get your questions answered. Then, of course, last but not least, Goldilocks Global Banking News. over 15,500 strong subscribers. It is reaching people from all over the world. Literally, that is your daily podcast where we bring the absolute facts with receipts that you can see the actual process of the RVGCR. Also, for those that are listening to this, I would kindly request, this is me telling you, we must reach at least one more person to help them. Many of you that are here now, you have benefited from the knowledge and information that we're sharing. We would ask that you at least share every single episode that you listen to. Share it on your social platforms. We don't care about many hearing it and following. All it takes is one person that is able to obtain this knowledge and information that you all have received and benefited from, because it can change just that one person's life and their generations to come, it's a ripple effect for many other people. So I'm asking you, to every single episode that you listen to every day, share it so that at least one person is affected. As a humanitarian, share it with as many people. Don't keep it to yourself. All right, let's go. Now, tonight we have, of course, as always, 3 amazing members that are going to bring you their bank updates, wealth manager updates. We have members that have had dinner, lunch, played golf, all kind of things with their wealth managers, in-home meetings. So tonight we're going to have Glass Half Full, then CVC, then Lady Unique. Next week so far already booked. We have String Bean, Garlic String Bean, and Ty Too Pretty that are going to bring their updates. And I'm just going to, throughout the week between now and next week, we'll get one other person that will bring their updates. So many every day. It's hard to keep up with member after member daily that are sharing their amazing updates with the banks, setting up their accounts for their exchange funds to go into. They're setting up brokerage accounts, trust funds at no cost whatsoever. And where people have paid thousands of dollars for Cracker Jack box trust from different people. Our members are able to establish these relationships and have their trust with their beneficiaries included, set up, insurance policies set up with the actual banks. I want to reemphasize this: tier 1 banks and wealth managers and private wealth managers. Our members are absolutely, so our members have their receipts, not just here in the US, but also in the UK and also in England, also in South Africa, all over the world. We have 8 steps, simple steps, that the beautiful Glass Half Full and also Jan and Brunette Grand came up with. We put it together. She-Hulk put it wrapped it in a bow, and with Wiley's knowledge and myself in the room, our members are getting the success with the actual bankers. And actually, your first person you're going to hear from tonight, Glass Half Full, she was already set 3 wealth management firms in place, but she was hearing many other members that were doing the same thing. She finished early with her wealth management relationships, her wealth management teams. She decided she wanted to throw her hat back in the ring. So we're going to hear from her first. And articles tonight, we're going to show you how Iraq is preparing for their international rate, Vietnam preparing for their international rate. We're going to share the safest places to exchange your currency. And we're going to touch on the Kurdistan oil agreement, where some of our members have done some of their own due diligence and reading on the information that we shared, and they're going to share with you some of their feedback. So let's jump right into it. Glass Half Full, you're going to come out first, my beautiful lady. Then CVC and Lady Unique. Glass Half Full, are you
I'm unmuted.
There you go, my amazing tall,
How?
full glass.
Oh, I've got a full glass now, don't
I know you're not able to be with us long tonight. You have some other obligations, but thank you so much, and thank you for being the leader that you are in the room. You're such an amazing mentor to so many people. I just want to say thank you, beautiful. We
Well,
appreciate you.
we're just paying it forward from you and Wiley and Lady E. I mean, everything that you guys are doing, we're just trying to help out and pay it forward.
Yes. And isn't it beautiful how we have a community of people? There's no other community where the people help the people, reach back and help the people. Well, you have to have something that they've done in order to help. I mean,
Yeah,
so
it's a beautiful place, a beautiful.
yeah. Yeah. So now you had three wealth management firms already locked in. You were going to diversify your wealth amongst these three firms. And then you decided recently you were going to put your toe back in the water and do this again. What in the world?
Well, I was listening to all those great stories, and I'm sitting here thinking, well, maybe there's a rock or two I should turn over and just check things out,
Again, for the fourth time, huh?
Yeah. And so my three are all tier 1 banks. And so I thought, well, I'm going to check out a private wealth management.
Oh, okay.
Phone appointment with one just the other day, and it was interesting. It's kind of like, I don't know, there's a little bit of, once you've done this, it's kind of exciting to do it. And there's a little bit of an adrenaline rush. I hate to say that, but
getting addicted. She's getting addicted.
I don't. Well, yeah, I don't know, but it's fun. It's like a challenge. You wanna dig, and you want to find absolute best manager. There's a lot of different ones out there, and they all have, many of them, great programs. You just have to find the one that is just perfect, like Goldilocks and the porridge,
Right. Right.
So anyway, I had a good conversation with him, and I like him. I'll meet with him in a couple of weeks. They have some things that my banks don't have. But I still like my top two. I'm still kind of enamored with those two. So I don't know. I don't know if he can pull himself up to number 3. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. And I think you said that this private wealth management firm, there was something that he offers that the first two tier 1 banks didn't. There was something different. Was there?
Well, they have everything in-house, the CPA, the state attorneys, everything under the same roof. And,
gotcha.
And that was interesting to me. And he mentioned something else that I'd never heard before. I mean, those in the know probably know, but a suitability standard with a fiduciary, which he explained to me. And I thought that was interesting. I had to go look it up and what have you. And he said some banks are not pure fiduciaries. So I don't know.
Right. Yes. Some wealth managers, you're right, may not be correct. But so the suitability study, okay, I like that. So you're considering, and you're going to be meeting him again in 2 weeks?
Next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So when you meet with him next week, what is the purpose of this follow-up meeting?
Well, as I think it's important to meet somebody face to face, not on a Zoom call.
Right.
I would definitely get a feel, a vibe, and feel comfortable. And I want to see where they operate, and in just the whole picture. I just feel comfortable. Anybody's going to handle my money. I'm not just going to turn it over to somebody I saw as.
Exactly. Okay, got it. Okay, so face to face. So you want to really get a good feel for him. You want to touch the flesh, look in his eyes, and get a good feel for him, so that you can see if this is going to be maybe number 3, or you're just going to stay with diversifying between the first two.
Right. Exactly.
Got it. Excellent. Excellent. I love it. I love it. Wiley, I see you here, my good man. You want to chime in here at all with the beautiful glass half full?
Yeah, no, you're great. Glass half full. You've had this nailed down for a while and everything. And I say go with your gut. If your gut's
Okay.
telling you this ain't the one, just move on.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And on the other side of this, many things will open up as you start to grow into this. And then you're going to go into some of these and you're going to have a different appreciation for what this is. You won't need Wiley's questions. You're just going to go approach another one and say, hey, this is what I'd like to do. What can you do for me? And you'll have your own questions. You'll have your own way of handling it and interviewing those and have your own process downstream.
Your questions are invaluable, but as I'm point no, I don't even have to look at the piece of paper. They just rattle off my tongue and I'm talking to them to ask the questions.
Yeah, somebody's read them a number of times, huh?
Right. Beautiful. So. And folks, Glass Half Full had a very unique, I remember one of her very first appointments, she had a very unique approach, was that she approached it as if it was practice, her first one or two. Is that correct? Glass half full?
Right. Yeah. Actually, it was I live in a small area, and it was what I thought was just a neighborhood bank. And I got a hold of their wealth manager, and I wanted to practice. I didn't want to practice on what would be ones I would really want to pursue.
Right.
And,
so you just used them.
I did. I just used them. Yeah. Come to find out they are one bank, but I didn't know that at the time.
At the beginning, yeah.
And he didn't all questions he did feel comfortable. So it was like first at the lingo, and I'm gonna say for me.
Beautiful. And I think we have some technical difficulties. You're starting to sound like R2D2. So I know you have to go anyway. Oh. It's all right. You don't worry. But we're at the tail end. But we appreciate you so much, young lady. I know you have to run, but you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Okay. And you won't be with us next Saturday because it's your birthday, right?
Right.
Okay. Awesome. Happy early birthday next week. Beautiful.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Talk to you later. Take care. All right. Awesome. Now, the one and only CVC. If you can unmute, folks, this is the amazing CVC. How you doing, young lady?
I am very good. Thank you. And also with me this evening is Mr. Wonderful, my husband.
Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff is in the building. You remember him, Mr. Wonderful?
Who's that?
Paul
Mr.
Orndorff.
Oh, used to be the So you guys, let me tell you, CVC, you're such a joy and you bring so much love and energy to the room. I know that you and your hubby have had some excellent meetings. If you guys can bring us up to date on these amazing meetings and establishment that you've done with these wealth managers, fill us in.
Okay. I think that basically we were looking for, listen, I was praying so much for guidance. You have no idea. I would pray. I'd wake up in the middle of the night. I'd pray about it. It was like, okay, I don't know what to do with this. This opportunity was brought to us by some friends of ours. They were lost. I just said, okay, yeah, it sounds like a good idea. I'm jumping in with you. And we had no idea what to do, the process or anything. But you know what? I think the Lord brought me to a bunch of people, a lot of those weasels. I knew they were weasels. And I was like, no, Lord, I got you. This is a learning. You're teaching me what to avoid.
Right.
So that when the real deal came up, I recognized it. And boy, I embraced everything that was being said in the room. By all the experience, all the guidance. I kid you not, I picked it up, I studied everything, and we decided, okay, let's go. Pretty much the same thing that
Glass half full.
Yes, that glass half full was saying. That's exactly the process. And we thought, well, we're going to go out there and we're just going to wing it and see what happens. Sent out the questions and things just started to click. And I was like, oh my God, it's happening. This is happening. So, and I think I took a vacation. Yeah. I took a vacation, and in 1 week, I think we saw like 2 banks, 3 banks. Can't remember. But we had the list and
Okay.
sent it all out. And things just started to happen. Things just started to unroll. And now we have 4 banks. We're waiting for our trust documents to be finalized with the state, the registration, to open the accounts. The wealth managers at all of the banks, they're wonderful people, but I happen to click better with some. My husband clicks better with others. So what we decided to do was just basically take this and put them one against the other when it comes time for the exchange.
You're going to make them compete.
Yeah, we're going to make them compete, and we're going to have them compete on what the rate is going to be, because what they charge for the exchange, if they will work on our behalf to get us a better exchange. And also, how quickly will our funds be available? Are they going to hold them? Or what will they release? These are things that I would have never thought about that had it not been for the room and for Wiley. I read something that Wiley put up that said that some of these hold funds, and we looked at each other like, okay, this is not what we want. We need to make
right.
sure. So we're just very excited about this whole thing. And, we're constantly getting called. They're chasing us like crazy. I mean, I swear to God, I feel like an 18-year-old. It's
right.
funny. It's funny. But we're just happy. I'm so happy, and things are happening. But you know what? Listening now to Glass Half Full, well, my God, you just gave me a great idea. I want to go
What's
talk
that?
to one of those private wealth funds.
Yes, and Wiley shared a list of some of those private wealth management firms. They're in the Wiley's Wisdom Room. There's a list there that several of the members that you've heard amazing stories from, where everything's completely set up for them. They're from that list of some of them are from that list of private wealth management firms that Wiley shared. So,
I gotta go look for that.
Yes. So yes. Do you recall? So I think it was RO either last week or the week before. She had mentioned that there was one of the largest private wealth management firms. Well, I won't put her business out there, but she just mentioned on the call. But just check out that list.
Okay. I will. I will look for it, and I can do the research on the list and probably find out who it is, and then go ahead and approach them and see.
Yeah, there's several, and see, and the difference is with private wealth management firms, they're not as regulated as Tier 1 bank with their wealth managers. Private wealth management firms have a little more leeway and flexibility that you are looking for when it comes to some of the things that you mentioned about negotiating rates and all that kind of stuff. I won't. You remember Ty? Remember Ty? Too Pretty?
Yes.
The young man?
Yes.
That's a private wealth management firm.
I think I remember hearing her say something about that. And
he's the young man that's 26 years old.
With the son, with the child?
With the daughter, yes, the 3-year-old.
The daughter, okay. Yes, I know. Okay.
Private wealth, and there's several others. I'm just throwing that out there just because I would imagine that you're familiar with him, but there's several others that they want to keep it confidential that you've heard from with their updates. There are several that are also private wealth management firms. And of course, just like with a Tier 1 bank wealth manager, you don't have to pay a dime.
Yes, exactly. And I also Glass Half Full mentioned about the fiduciary,
Mm-hmm.
and that is something that the ones that we have spoken to and that are in the
Mm-hmm.
hopper that we're considering,
Mm-hmm.
um, they do have that, and they have mentioned it to us that
Mm-hmm.
they do have that, the fiduciary, and that the
Mm-hmm.
funds are like the funds are protected.
Mm-hmm.
The funds are not in it. They're in that thing that Wiley said where it's like it doesn't, the 250,000 max doesn't apply. This is beyond that, which was
Mm-hmm.
very important to us because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you want that protection.
Exactly. Exactly
So
right. Mm-hmm.
we're so happy. We're
Yes.
I can't tell you. We're so happy that we see that we're on the right path. We're
Mm-hmm.
taking the right action, and we've
Yes.
been blessed with having the time to be
Mm-hmm.
able to do it because you
Yes.
don't want to do it under when you're rushed or in a crunch
Right.
or in fear.
Exactly.
So it's just been great, Freedom Fighter. It's been
Yes.
wonderful. You guys
Well,
have been great.
it's beautiful, Mr. Wonderful. You want to chime in here, Wiley? You want to jump in here, my good man?
Well, well, I let the women do all the talking, but uh, you
You know, okay.
know, I just have made it very clear to these institutions that we're dealing with a lot more than just one, and I've let them know that we're comparing their position with other positions to make certain that we're getting the best return for our efforts.
Right.
And we they're chasing us, so
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, and I've put them off and I put them off. I'm really waiting for a few more state that some information from the state before I go in and set up the additional accounts. But I've
Okay.
already got accounts with some of these institutions anyway. I'm just going to add another account, a trust account for these funds. But anyway, I'm looking for. I'd like for this thing to uh, reach fruition sometime before June, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, because I'd like to stop working.
Right.
Wait, that's his
Right.
birthday. That's his birthday. That's why he's saying that. He wants a really big birthday present.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Well, you're way ahead of the pack right now. You're way ahead of the game. There are so many that are behind, so many that have not even taken the steps to establish these relationships. No trust accounts, no bank account for the exchange, nothing, because
Oh my Lord.
they don't know. They're giving the impression that they're just going to wait. I mean, many of us were there. Many on this call were once there, so this is nothing new. But
Mhm.
thank God that the two of you, a beautiful couple, that God brought you to us. He guided you to us, and the rest is history.
Yes, yes. And we play good cop and bad cop all the time.
Oh, I love it.
Like, when it's like they'll say, "Well, we can do this," and the other one will look at it and go, "I'm sorry, that's just not what I want. But that's
Right.
just not where it's not going to work here." Then they look at us like, "What do you mean? It's like, what's going on here?"
They're ready to. What do you want? What do you want us to do for you? Tell us what's going to
Exactly. It's
tell
so
us what's going to
funny.
take. What is it going to
It's
take?
it's so funny. It's just funny. And the my thing is like I tell my husband, "Hey, listen, there's so many fish in the sea. If it doesn't work out and you see that, you move on. It's not meant to be. The right one will come. I'm just, just don't
Right.
worry. You don't worry.
You,
Listen, God has a path. We have our path. We
hmm
just need to embrace it and say, okay, this is good. This is good. But I know he's
That's
got
right.
something great for us, for all of us.
That's right. That's right. Wiley, you want to chime in here with these beautiful people?
Yeah, they're excellent. When you guys do go in and you finally do get to exchange your currencies, talk a little bit about the fees that are there. Saying, hey, what's the funds availability and what's the fees? Um, because that's going to make or break whether or not you're going to want to work with them or not. Because it's like, hey, if you're going to charge me 3 to 5%, I'm going to go down to my other bank and deal with them because they're willing to waive everything if I put assets under management and wealth management, and I'm
Yep.
willing to do that because when you're talking sums of money, I mean, it could be $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. You leave it on the table, and that kind of money put in an annuity or something small, man, that's guaranteed returns that you can make $3,000-$4,000 on pretty quickly. So this kind of stuff adds up very fast. Do you want these people to work on your best behalf? So negotiate. Everything's a negotiation with this, but you got to learn to have that self-confidence and knowing what you're doing and a comfort level of going in and doing this. And that's what we've tried teaching and getting people over, so that when you actually physically do go, you have that skill set and comfort level to start asking the tougher brass tacks questions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the reason we let them know on the front end that we're dealing with more than one institution. We're dealing with
Yes.
several, and we're dealing with not just relationships, but fees, everything associated with the transaction, so that they know that we're quite aware. I've had trust since 1996, so I mean, we're pretty established, and they know that we know what we're doing. So I'm not really concerned about it. I'm just waiting for the word that says, hey, it's time to go in and do the exchange.
And that's the beautiful part. You're already structured, you're prepared, you've got several people in the hopper, you have options.
Absolutely.
That's what we really want to see. We want to see people, if minimum, have an option. If some people have multiple options, even better.
Yep.
Great job, guys.
Exactly. I would never, anyone on the call I saw today in the room, I think it was, what was her name? Sweet Pea, that was mentioning if she should go someplace else. And I absolutely, we should all have options, especially since it is not costing you anything at all. Just on time, your effort, and education. That's all. It's just,
Well,
you
what's
need
going to
to do it.
happen on the backside is your social influence circle is going to change, and you're going to start rubbing elbows with people that are a little more fluent, where you're at, because we gravitate towards that. It's just human nature. And you're going to start hearing these other people doing things. You're like, hey, I'm sorry I overheard, but can I hear more about that? And who would one get in touch with if they were inclined to hear that? So don't be surprised that you start growing beyond where you start.
Oh wow! Oh gosh, I'm so looking forward to that.
Beautiful.
I do. I love it. I love it. That would be amazing. I've thought about. We have friends of ours that I'm actually waiting for them to come back. They're out of town, and they do have. I think they have like two banks that they work with that do her management, and she has one private wealth management firm where she told me, listen, when I get back, I will take you and make the introduction, and so you can see what they have to say. But she was the one also that was suggesting to us to actually not put everything in one basket, but to kind of spread it around and see who does better. Like
Absolutely, 100%. And that's why I liked when I heard you, Mr. and Mrs. CVC there, talk about, hey, we're going to play one with the other and kind of do some different things, because I liked him, he liked her. Hey, we're going to see what happens. That's good business.
Right.
We think so. Thank you.
Works so far.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Let me ask you guys, if you guys could give anyone listening a piece of advice, it doesn't matter what it is about this process, what would it be? Just whatever comes to your heart.
Listen to everything that you guys are saying. Listen to it, internalize it, think about it, make notes, ask you can even role play your questions, everything in the mirror if you're intimidated by going in there. And just remember, they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like you.
That's right.
So
I love it.
That's it.
I love it.
Well, Freedom, they went in just testing it, and now they're chasing them.
Right. Exactly. Blowing their phones
the
up.
power of this.
Yeah, exactly right.
chasing you, folks, if you got them chasing
Mhm.
you, man, you're 80% in the door, not 50,
I
80.
d-
Mhm.
it's funny too, because we're like, oh yeah, no, we're busy. We can't. We're busy. We'll give you a call as soon as we're ready. And they're like, well, we just
Yeah,
want
it
to
sounds
know
like
you.
somebody else I know who's got spankers on speed dial can't meet with them. Yeah.
Right, right,
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
She's coming up next, Lady Unique.
I
PR, Lady Unique.
Well, she's my role model.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Yeah, she's coming up next. That is it's amazing. It's amazing how I just love it because you've been so active, CVC, in the room, and I didn't know until you mentioned earlier, I believe, how your hubby's been there. Well, you mentioned he was there with you a few weeks ago, but now to hear his voice, I can see you guys are truly a power couple. A power couple.
You got it, man.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we like business. We enjoy we actually
Yeah.
enjoy it. We like making money. It's probably because I like spending it so much, but
Of course. Of course.
you know,
He said, I knew you would co-sign that, Mr. CVC. So before we let you beautiful people go, Mr. CVC, if there's any piece of advice you can give to anyone listening to this who are on the fence or who let's say who haven't done what the two of you have done in establishing your relationships, what would you tell them if there's anything that you can tell them? Any advice?
Well, I told you earlier, I let the women do the talking.
No,
Remember?
that's true. So that's your advice. Just let the women do the talking.
I think she covered everything for you, didn't she?
She sure did, and that's why the women in the room are just killing it because it's the women, and I tell you, for some reason, the women, ooh,
They're
they
smart, man.
mastered.
I just sit back and listen. To be honest with you,
Man, that how long you guys been together?
26 years.
That makes sense. You got the formula. Just listen.
Maybe it's 30 years.
I don't
I think
know.
it's 30 years.
I have no idea.
Yeah, well,
I'm
it seems
terrible.
like forever.
Well, 30 years is a lifetime. But it's so beautiful. We appreciate you guys, and we look forward to your next update. I know you got some more meetings coming up, and I know you guys are going to be reaching out to some private wealth management firms. I already see you guys are going to come back and say, "Well, we done made a choice. We're going to make them think we're going to wait, but we're going to choose this private wealth management firm." I see it coming. I see it. I see it. I see it. I see it.
He's doing that with one of them. Oh my God, because he loves the guy that handles the trusts there. Oh my God.
Okay.
But then I do too. The man is just brilliant. He's
Beautiful.
just great when it comes to trust. But I don't like the institution, and I don't really like anybody else there. So
Would
he's like, okay, let me handle it then. And
would
so we're
the,
just
the
working with
beautiful
them
thing is
for that.
you guys have options.
Yep.
Yep, you
For
got
sure.
options. Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. and Mrs. CVC. We look forward to your next update, and we look forward to you, of course, CVC, and your beautiful energy in the room. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you. And it's always a
All right.
pleasure to be in there. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you to
Awesome.
everyone on the call. And
Yeah,
pay
yes,
attention.
yes, there you go.
All
The
right.
one, all right. We need a drum roll, please, for the one and only Lady Unique, the rock star, superstar, aka Miss Proposals, aka Eloped, aka put a ring on it.
Stop. Mr. and Mrs. CVC. Rockin' cup up. I love it. I
Yes, yes,
love it. It is
yes,
so beautiful to have that
yes,
teamwork, dream
yes,
work, working
yes.
it out.
Yeah, CVC, you can unmute. I saw you raise your hand. I know this is you've been following Lady Unique.
Yes. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you. That means a lot to me from you. I'm seriously, you're my role model. I follow you like, okay, she's doing this, she's doing that. She said that, so thank you.
You're so welcome, and I'm glad I could help. I've been helped,
Yes.
and that just gets me all choked up. Now, come on now.
Oh, come on now. I'm out. Bye.
Now,
Oh, good evening,
lady,
everybody.
good evening, my young lady. You have, I mean, everyone knows who you, I would imagine everyone knows who you are from the beginning of you being told that you're on the waiting list at the Tier 1 bank. You're on their waiting list for the currency exchange. Folks, this is from a Tier 1 bank. This is Lady Unique. To having her currency authenticated, to having a gazillion meetings with wealth managers, to them chasing her like Mr. and Mrs. CVC being chased. But Lady Unique has some, her name is so appropriate. She has some unique updates that several of her updates for confidentiality, she can't, and we prefer her not to share openly. But Lady Unique, what you are able to share, if you can please do so. You've had some recent more updates recently when we thought you were done, like we thought glass half full was done. Now you went from president of firms and that CEO of a very, very big firm that has been informed about you. Folks, you don't even know that Lady Unique also was asked to be on the advisory board for a Tier 1 bank that she turned down. I don't know CVC. I don't know if you knew about that. But this is the one. Lady Unique, please bring us up to date. It's just, I can go on and on, but we'll be here all night.
Okay. All right. For number one, I want to the private management firm that I selected and am very happy with. We did meet with my banker. We had a nice meeting, and just to back up just a little bit, my financial advisor was trying to meet with my banker prior to the three of us meeting. He was in the area, and he was going to try to stop in and catch her, but
Now let me ask you
it
this.
did.
I want to cut you
Yeah,
off
yeah.
for context purposes. I know you have a private banker, but you said your financial advisor and your banker, are they from the Tier 1 bank, or are they with the same private wealth management firm?
The Tier 1 bank is my bank. The private management firm is not associated with my bank, but they
Right.
are now. They are now because they have me as a client.
That's what I wanted to get at. That's what I was trying to figure out. And I wanted to paint that picture, folks. So what you're hearing, folks, is she has a Tier 1 bank where she'll exchange. Then she has her private wealth management firm that will where she will grow and they will manage her wealth. But you're saying now that you have connected the Tier 1 bank and the private wealth management firm to meet together. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, and we have had that meeting.
Wow.
Now, didn't you have a luncheon with him and he had his company name on his lapel of his jacket or whatever at the first meet when you so you really didn't have to break the ice? Your banker's like, oh, okay.
No, what happened was he got to the day of our meeting at my bank. He got to my bank before I did,
Ah,
and
yeah.
Wow.
he was sitting in the waiting area right outside the offices in his jacket with his name on the back on there. And we met. Everything went fine. And I did notice a lot of activity out because their offices are glass, but there was a lot of activity going on. But it didn't resonate with me till a couple of days later. Um, so after that meeting with my banker and my private management team, uh, my financial advisor, he took me to lunch, and we got the opportunity to get even more I gotta
Acquainted.
watch how I gotta watch how I gotta say. Yeah, acquainted. There we go. And it was a very good meeting, because we got to talk more. He wanted me to know more. I had a profile on him. I had checked him out on FINRA. 30 years, and then he's a financial management advisor. He's all of it rolled up in one. As a matter of fact, he is the vice president of that particular in the area for this company. So after we had our meeting and everything and exchanged everything, he's got all my the information, my plans. We talked about, like we've discussed, the trust. For me, I even went further with the medical thing. I'm having, and I'm just going to touch on it for just a second. Extended care in the event that anything should happen to me, based on my experience with my husband and how things went there. So I learned a lot. With the notes and everything from Uncle Wiley, it helped me put
Wiley.
that little plan together. So so that's I mean, as far as all that goes, all we're sitting down there. He's a fiduciary as well. He is going to go. He will be with me at my appointment. My account. They have not set it up like some of them are, but they have. It's noted that when that time comes, I'm going to have this account and that account and openings for brokerage and some other things I want to do. But initially, to get started, they have all that in place for me right now. So, and in between that time, before I did share with you guys before, the other firm that I was with originally that tried to tell me what to do, reached back out to me, and I told you guys before that I didn't return their call. Well, guy calls me again, so I thought, all right, I'll be nice and I'll return the call. It turns out that that company that was called, the wealth manager that was calling me, was not the original person that I had met with and that team. And so I played games a little bit. Glass half full, and brunette ground, they'll be happy. Yeah, they'll be happy. But anyway, what I did was, he said, well, can we meet us? And I said, no, actually, I have something planned that day. I'm not available. So
Jesus Christ.
so he's going like, well, whatever. So I said, what about Wednesday? About 12, 1 o'clock. And he goes, oh, that's fine. Well, first of all, when I did call him back, he answered the call. The phone rang twice, and he snatched it up. And I guess when he answered, he said, oh, Miss, he called my name. He said, thank you so much for returning my call. So I said, okay. So then that's when we set up that lunch meeting. Now, when we were at that meeting, he did share with me that the reason he wanted to, and I knew what it was, but I didn't know it was going to go like this. He wanted to meet with me to hear of my experience with the prior team that I had that meeting with. He had the emails, he had the broker's notes, and he admitted that they had to readdress protocols. And my experience was something new, and that by me sharing with him the client side, he appreciated it. So he mentioned to me, with this emerging market, he said this emerging international market and stocks are a pivot, and the opportunity to provide the management, the financial requirements to help a trusted firm is what they want to offer a client, and we want to offer it to you. I thanked him for the offer, and I told him, I must say, I have a firm working with me, and I am very pleased with them. So I also took advantage, and I said, and I also shared, because I got to thinking, maybe by me sharing this with him and what they've gone through, in a way, I could be helping the next client that they do get. I kind of looked at it that way instead of me, So yeah, and I told him everything was going fine with that firm until the broker presented himself to me as a dictator and was trying to tell me how to rethink about my investments. And he said, I understand. And he apologized. and
Mhm.
even reiterated that they had made the required changes in that area. So bottom line, he gave me his card and he asked me to keep him in mind if anything should come up that they want to use to call him directly.
Mhm.
So I thanked him for the card and also appreciated the lunch of lobster tails and crab legs and a glass of wine.
Oh.
And then I'll close with this. My FA, he's been in contact with me back and forth, different things,
Mhm.
we're still double checking on and lining up.
Mhm.
And so he told me that he had personally shared my information and shared what I'm doing with the CEO of the company, the
Mhm.
management firm. And I was like, what?
Mhm.
What? So
Mhm. Mhm.
he says he's going to work. He's only working with a handful. He's only going to work with so many clients,
Mhm.
and I don't know if he's just trying to make me feel good or what, but I'll take it. He said, and you're the client. He said, and I'm the client that you're going to have throughout this entire. You're my client throughout this entire process. It's a lifelong connection.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I I
Mhm.
thanked him. Yeah. And then he
Mhm.
said, oh, wait a minute, one more thing, and then I'll let you know because I know
Mhm.
you got this to do. But I want
Uh-huh.
everybody to know, I twist things up. I use, if it wasn't for my Uncle Encyclopedia, I don't know where I'd be. Um, I would take the notes from Uncle Wiley
Wiley.
and the questions
Mhm.
and things that he would ask, and I would put those questions in the terms of the things that I wanted to accomplish. Okay, and
Mhm.
then the goals that I'm looking for. So to get that feedback, and was it today? No, yesterday. It my advice. He calls me and he goes, "Can I just ask you a question?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He said, where are you getting your knowledge from? He said, and I just, and again, I use and I
Mhm.
just said, I didn't tell him, I did share, I said, I do have some fantastic mentors that know what's going on and they're sharing this very well. So it helps me. But I said, I use my Uncle
Mhm.
Encyclopedia. And he started laughing. He goes, "Your what?" I said, "Never mind, you'll never understand." So he, he laughed and he said, "Okay, I'll follow up with you next week, maybe." But he said, "I'm just gonna stay in touch with you, so get used to it." I said, "Okay, that's fine with me."
Man, I think you're gonna have a dozen of roses that's gonna be dropped off at your doorstep. Some
No,
cheesecake. No, I'm just playing.
no,
Why?
cheesecake for you.
I know. Wiley, Wiley, what you think, man?
She is, I'm telling you, if I could bottle her and sell it and get
I
people
know.
to drink it, they would
Man,
have this, they would know it, and they would never turn
man.
back.
We
She
we
is the model of success that
Yep.
we see in this because she's taking care of it and she's handled it very professionally. And girl, kudos to you for not burning that bridge and helping them understand how it went wrong for you to help the next people coming because we know where you were at and there's others coming up
Yeah.
behind you. So
Yeah.
thank you for
Yeah.
not burning that and helping build a bridge for others that are coming because they're definitely going to need that. And
It,
personally, if I was you, I would definitely nurture that relationship a little more.
mhm,
They're trying to
mhm.
make it right. I would at least drop a little something over there, see what they can do for you, and maybe take some of the returns you get from your big one and go work with them because I think they want to make this up to you in a big way, and I don't think you
I
understand how
agree.
big that's going to be.
Yeah.
And they want to make this right in so many ways because, trust me, your name's out there. They know, and they know they dropped the ball on you drastically, and they're going to do whatever they can to make it right with you. I'm
Oh,
not
what?
saying leave where you're going. I'm not saying that because that's a
Oh,
great
I
place.
know you ain't saying that.
Yeah, no. I
Yeah.
ain't saying that. I'm saying nurture your new guy, especially where you're at and who you're talking to in there. They've offered you a
Mhm.
Mhm.
couple positions. This is because you've come armed. You've come armed with knowledge and power and direction. And anything less than what you want is is not going to do it for you. And you know that.
Right.
And they like that client. They love a client who knows where they want to go and keeps reiterating it, regardless where somebody else tries pushing.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
knowing your business. That's great.
Right.
well, you guys help, like you've heard before, and I'll never ever get tired of saying it because it's the absolute truth. With the nurturement and the coaching and understanding that you share, and it really it hits home for us, and it
Hmm.
really hits home for me. Um, I take it a little bit stronger, I guess, because it's on me, but not like it's not nobody else doesn't have. I'm not no, I'm not saying that, but um it's just what you share and what you teach us and what you share with us. And then the way everybody jumps in and and gives the love and then the tough love and then the silly love. I mean, this is a binding thing right here. This is
Right.
if nothing else. I mean,
Well,
this
here's a
is
little
the
something
true
on the
thing of
backside.
humanity.
Yeah, there's a little something
Mhm.
on the backside, and I don't think Freedom and I have ever really touched this, and I think CVC did with you. But every one of you who have shared a story on a call or in the room or whatever, you've resonated with another member. And we've
Mhm.
either heard it from them directly, we've heard it from DM, but you inspire others. Every one of you that's
Mhm.
done this call before has inspired another to get off the fence and go do it. That's why
Mhm.
we ask you, what advice would you give? Because Freedom and I do this every day.
Yeah,
We're pretty established. We're going to be all right. That's how come we can spend so much time with you all.
Mhm.
But when you
yeah,
get off the fence and do it, they see like I was there. I can be
Right.
where she is now, or they are now. I can do
yeah.
this if they can. And sometimes they just need that little spark of inspiration for somebody that's touched them directly. And you all do that. And you do it in spades, Lady Unique. I get several
Yeah.
people DM from you. How can I get where
She.
she is? Hard
Yeah.
work and focus.
And you know what, Wiley, I want to jump in if you don't mind.
Go
Something you
ahead.
mentioned, yeah, something you mentioned that about Lady Unique's experience, and I want to make sure people really pay attention and hear what you said that she did in her meeting with this wealth management firm, where her initial meeting months ago didn't go well at all, and this wealth manager was trying to push her around. So full circle, she moved on. She moved on. She got a private wealth management firm. She's set, ready to go, as in her words. So this initial firm calls her back. Someone higher up calls her back and wants to make it right because the initial meeting they weren't prepared, but they are now for the emerging market international economy. Folks, the emerging market, the currencies that many of us hold are emerging market currencies. So what she did was, what Lady Unique did was, instead of saying, no, I don't want to be bothered with you, she said, yeah, I have another firm. But she kept that door open for someone else that may be listening on this call who needs a wealth manager who is aware of what is happening, and they can help you. She wasn't selfish. She left that opportunity open. And also, like Wally's saying, you keep that opportunity open for yourself, Lady Unique. You put in the work. I would nurture that relationship. You got leverage with this particular firm now. They want you bad.
They've tried hiring her twice.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. But
Yeah.
folks, I want you all to listen to this. When she got the call back where they were burning her phone up, and she called back and he picked up on the second ring as if this was his ex that left him, and he wants a second chance. What he's telling her is that they are aware. See, the first wealth manager at this firm, he was out in left field. He didn't know what was going on. But between that time, which was several months ago, and now, they are aware. And now they
Yep.
want to make it, and now they want to make it right.
and they've made the internal adjustments to ensure this doesn't happen to somebody else, so they
Mm-hmm.
lose a high net worth client again, like they've
Right.
left her, like she's left them, and they're trying to
Exactly.
fix this.
And someone listening to this call, someone listening right now, you might be the next person that follows the steps that we provided, and you end up at this firm that Lady Unique is talking about, where they now made the internal adjustments to be prepared for this event, and you benefit from it. It's very well possible. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna talk about Lady Unique like she's not even in the room.
Okay.
I remember her so well when she come to us, but she
Mm-hmm.
has learned and absorbed all this stuff we've put out from the get go. That she's educating the wealth management about
Yeah.
emerging markets, and it's just flowing out of her like nothing.
Right.
I
Right.
remember the shy lady she was when she started.
Mm-hmm.
Look at her now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just flowing and channeling through her that she's opening up doors for other folks that may or may not even be in our room or on this
Right.
call.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
giving
true.
back.
That's
That's
giving back for
huge.
sure. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why she's so blessed to have the
Yeah.
relationships that she has and to be set the way she's set. And it's amazing, Wiley, that I'm not sure if people really understand what she's been able to accomplish, to have the tier 1 bank people and the completely separate private wealth management firm that's going to manage her wealth, to have the both, they're collectively meeting as a team together. That's
But
crazy.
here's the even better part. Her bank now knows who she's with. They know their competition, and they know that competition is steep, and they better come to the table with something phenomenal if they
Mm-hmm.
even want a piece of her business now. And they
Right.
understand that, and they're still willing to try.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
they are.
It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean,
Beautiful.
you
Beautiful.
are in such a great position, Lady Unique. You are
Mm-hmm.
set. I could not be happier for you. I remember
Mm-hmm.
your setback a few months ago. We had to regroup, reset, and
Mm-hmm.
man, you said, yeah, who needs a 2K ring? I want a 10K ring this time around.
Right.
Well, it's y'all's fault. Y'all's fault. Y'all's fault. But I appreciate it so very, very much.
You
Very,
have
very
Yes,
much.
such a
indeed.
good sense of humor. You have such a great personality and poise and all that just within your feminine wiles and that knowledge, and you use all that to your benefit.
Mm-hmm.
That is just handling business. You know
Right.
you know you're just using it all. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if you know it, but you really have a talent for doing this.
It's
You really
natural.
do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm not saying the financial stuff. I'm just saying a talent for business and what you want to handle as far as your business. And
Mm-hmm.
lady, I don't even know what you do for a living or did, but I can tell you what, I would have hired you in a heartbeat for business back in the day.
Ooh.
Hands down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't say it enough. It's I've been inspired in my walk. Everybody, like I said, everybody's had a walk. I don't want nobody to think, oh, shit, yeah, no. It's your walk. The walk that I had to walk, and by the Lord's guidance
Mm-hmm.
and helping me get through what I had to do, and
Mm-hmm.
when still has some residuals left from that. And by
Mm.
him guiding me to you guys, like I said, hooking up with you guys. I told you in the beginning, once I hooked up with you guys and started learning and stuff from you, I said, this is the team I want. And they stuck with me. So see
Yeah,
what you
see,
did? See what you
yeah,
did?
yeah. You know what? If I tell you what, if I will not be surprised how far you go and you grow in this, because I know there's no ceiling for you. I can tell you
Absolutely.
that already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I
Lady
appreciate
Unique,
it. Thanks.
if
Yes.
if there's any advice you could give to anyone listening to this call, you know what people are hearing, you know how people are confused, you know where you were, and you know where you are now. What would you want to share with them to help them?
I can say this. Look at what you've heard. Listen to what you're hearing now. Listen to the receipts of people that have walked the walk. We're given the steps. Read them. Understand them. It's okay to question what you're doing, but you're doing something for your betterment. You're doing something for your family's betterment. It ain't a cakewalk, but once you get the steps together, have confidence in yourself. Have peace in what you're doing. Quit beating yourself up. Take your thumb out your mouth. Get that pencil and paper. Come on in the room if you're in there. Take notes like some have been doing. I did it too before I finally opened my mouth. But this is your walk. Can't nobody do it but you. And you got the best leaders to give you the truth, the proof, the guidance to help you achieve your goal. If you don't have a goal, then get on out the room.
Cool. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey, Freedom, if
Talking.
I can, real quick. I know you got
Yes,
to
sir.
get on with some other stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
With just the 3 stories tonight, just these alone, why would somebody wait for somebody else to give them or tell them, hey, here's what you need to go do, wait for this number or wait for an email or wait for this stuff, when they can go get empowered today and they can be set, structured, and on go with their own team tomorrow?
Right.
It eludes me.
And
And
Wiley, you know better than anyone. I'm sorry, lady Unique.
no,
One
go
quick
ahead.
second. Wiley, you know better than anyone where the rumor of a notification came from.
Oh, I do. Yeah, it came from the group I worked with, 5 other people, about 15, 18 years ago. We created it. Folks,
And
Wiley created that policy. It died in 2008, 2009. It collapsed. And the gurus are still hung on it. And you're being lied to. Because I know, I was there. I've been in the trenches that long. And I've heard the same lies you all are hearing today.
And another thing, real quick, if I might say, guys, what Uncle Wiley didn't have to share this.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that show you unselfishness and caring about other people, about people who've been lied to and misled? How many times did we hear notifications? They're coming out tomorrow. They're coming out Monday. They're coming out. Oh, there was a problem. How many times have you heard it? That stuff gets old.
Mm-hmm.
It gets old. Here, you get the real deal. You get the real deal. Grab it. Embrace it. Because it's about you and yours and a blessing that'll, this type of thing, this is a one-time deal. Don't miss your shot.
100% it is.
That's
This
right.
is it. Grab the brass ring now, folks, because when this is one and done, this ain't ever coming back around.
That's right. That's right. And we're going to get into some articles that are the receipts that Lady Unique you always talk about. But you're a living testimony and a testament, Lady Unique, to what it takes in order to take those steps and be where you're at, to where you have multiple wealth management firms that are beating down your door. One that comes back and says, hey, we made some internal changes. Well, what that really was saying is that, yeah, we got the call, we got the update within the banking system, and now we're ready to move forward with clients like yourself, Lady Unique, for emerging market currencies. But you had already moved on to a private wealth management firm that was already ahead of them.
Yes.
So, but it's a beautiful thing, and thank you for being the humanitarian you are, and just being who you are. We appreciate you and we love you so much.
Love you guys back.
All right, hold on, young lady. We're gonna get into these articles, and I believe you might have seen some of the stuff on that we're gonna touch on earlier in the room, but we're gonna get on it right now to help some folks to wake up.
Okay.
All right, let's rock and roll. We have the one and only. I hope her alarm clock went off. If not, we just may have to get some backup. Oh, she's unmuted. She's here. Peculiar Ram.
I was about to say.
I'm messing with you. How
Good
you doing,
evening,
young lady?
everybody. I'm
Good
doing good.
evening.
I feel like y'all just took me to church. Like if we didn't even finish the call, that was,
I know.
I mean, that was edifying enough, wasn't it?
That was powerful. Just imagine you hear
Mm-hmm.
where this private wealth management firm. I know you remember when that first wealth manager that she initially went to months ago,
Yes.
dropped the ball, and now his higher ups reaches out to Lady Unique months later saying, "Hey, we made some changes. We are aware. We want to be in the game. We want you to be as our client." Isn't that amazing?
That is awesome. I was over
Yeah.
here grinning from ear to ear. I
Yeah.
wanted to like unmute in between
Right. Right.
and shout her
Right.
out
Yeah.
because I was hyped over here. Lady
Right.
Unique, you got me hyped, sis.
She turned them down like I done got married again. I don't got you wanted to be the ex, now you want to be next. Nope.
Yes.
I got my private wealth management firm over here. I got my account set up. They meeting with my tier 1 bank. Everyone is together. We're all set. They know my money's gonna go in this account. The firm's gonna handle the money. She's like, I don't need y'all. They like, no, please.
She is doing it. Every time I hear Lady Unique and her testimonies and her updates, I hear, what's that song? I'm like, I got the power.
Uh-oh.
That's what I hear. That's what I
The-
hear every time she busts open the scene, because she is totally taking control of
Yeah.
each and every conversation and each and every like interaction with everybody. And she is taking control, and she is, I mean, girl, you got the power.
Yes.
So I just wanted to shout you out, Lady Unique. I know we don't get a chance to talk much, but I was excited. So it's always exciting to hear her. Like you said, she is an inspiration. Hands down. Hands down. She's the GOAT.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we are going to get into Iraq. We're going to give you some education on Iraq and what they're doing in order to prepare to raise the value of the Iraqi dinar for an international rate. Vietnam is doing the same thing. We're going to show you that with receipts for all of this. And also we're going to show you why Goldilocks, Wiley, and myself has prepared all of you to establish these relationships at tier 1 banks. It was very strategic. We were very intentional. You're going to see why. Then we're going to touch on Kurdistan. We're going to get out of here. All right, on Iraq, young lady, if you can go on ahead. Folks, this first article is from the CBI. And what Goldilocks is sharing from the CBI about Iraq, within Iraq, and the Arab region, for the Iraqis to be able to invest in bonds. There's a reason for this, okay? But I'm gonna let the beautiful Peculiar Ram jump on in this, and we'll break it down, and we're going to show you how this is going to be utilized as a means to raise the value of the dinar. Go ahead.
The Central Bank of Iraq announced the signing of a banking agreement with the Emirates Islamic Bank, a mechanism that will allow individual customers of Iraqi banks in the near future to invest partially in Islamic bonds issued by Emirates Islamic Bank or other issuers with a similar credit rating in the United Arab Emirates.
Now, what she mentioned, for a mechanism that will allow individual customers of Iraqi banks in the near future to invest partially in Islamic bonds. They are actually forecasting that they're going to do this in the near future. But what you got to understand is that in order for this to happen, they must have an international rate. Go ahead, young lady.
You want me to start? You want me to read the last couple of sentences? You want me to skip down?
For retail investors?
Oh, okay. For retail investors to invest in bonds of another country, understanding and managing currency exchange rates is crucial, as the value of the investment in your home currency will fluctuate based on those rates.
So what it's saying, folks, is that when the Iraqis are able to purchase these bonds from the United Arab Emirates, it will affect the value of their home currency. What's their home currency? The dinar. Go ahead.
Here's a more detailed explanation. Currency risk. When you invest in bonds denominated in a foreign currency, you are exposed to currency risk, meaning your return on investment can be affected by changes in the exchange rate between the foreign currency and your local currency. Exchange rate fluctuations. Exchange rates constantly fluctuate, and a weaker exchange rate for the foreign currency could mean a lower return when you convert your investment back to your local currency. Impact on returns. The returns on your foreign bond investment, including both principal and interest, will be converted back to your local currency using the prevailing exchange rate at the time of conversion.
So what this means, folks, is that when these folks in Iraq purchase these bonds, when these bonds are available in the United Arab Emirates and other Arab countries, then what's going to happen is that they're going to convert it back into the Iraqi dinar at a stronger rate. Go ahead. Hedging strategies.
Hedging strategies. To mitigate currency risk, you can consider hedging strategies such as using forward contracts or other derivative instruments to lock in an exchange rate at the time of investment. Financial institution role. Financial institutions like Raymond James will confirm foreign currency trades in the US dollar equivalent and highlight the risk associated with this type of investment. As a retail investor, it is important to understand the potential impact of exchange rate fluctuations on your investment returns and to consider your risk tolerance when investing in foreign bonds. Yes, a market exchange rate is absolutely necessary for retail investors in one country to buy bonds in another country, as it determines the conversion rate between the two currencies involved in the transaction.
Boom, that last one. Yes, a market exchange rate is absolutely necessary. Folks, what this is saying is an international exchange rate is absolutely necessary for these bonds to be able to be bought and sold between Iraq, the Iraqi citizens, and the other Arab countries. The only way that they will be able to purchase these bonds is that the rate must be a market rate. This is why the first sentence, and I know you're supposed to read the first two and the last two. That's my fault because you ran. But it says that a mechanism that will allow individual customers of Iraqi banks in the near future to invest partially in Islamic bonds. They're actually forecasting and telling you, this is from the CBI, that in the near future, they're going to allow Iraqis to purchase these bonds. But now in order to do so, there has to be a market or international rate. So you can see that they are actually telling you what they're going to do before they even do it. So again, in order for, and I know, and maybe I should touch on this. Folks, not all bonds are created equal. There's a difference between a government bond and a collectible bond. Government bond, these are government bonds that Iraq is referring to. For example, here in the United States, we have what are those? They're called savings bonds. Those are government bonds. Those are not collectibles. There's a difference. The bonds that have been promoted in dinar land, they're not government bonds. They're collectibles. These bonds that Iraq is talking about, the Islamic bonds, these are bonds. These are government bonds. These are real bonds. And as a result, Iraq must have an international rate in order to allow the buying and the selling of these government bonds. Think about it like this. The United States, these savings bonds, doesn't the United States, don't we have an international rate for the US dollar? Don't we have savings bonds and other bonds? That's because we have an international rate. Iraq is telling you in the near future, they're going to sell these government bonds. They're going to have an international rate in order to do so. Now, does that make sense, Peculiar Ram?
It does, and that's exciting. It's like they're speaking in code.
They're speaking. Yeah, see, and I'm glad you said that, folks, because and it's absolutely right speaking in code, because one must understand or have someone that can explain what it means versus just posting a headline and telling you what it means to make it sound good. That's what you see on various social platforms. Whereas here, we show it to you, explain it to you, break it down, and then show you the exact source from where the information is coming from. It's directly from the Central Bank of Iraq. So there's a big difference with government bonds and then those Happy Meal bonds you get out of, the little toy you get with them at McDonald's. Big difference. All right. Now,
Monopoly.
I'm going. That's really what it is. I know people don't like to hear that, but it's just the truth.
Yeah.
And we know people don't like to hear things like this because it's different than what they've been told. But that's okay. We love it anyway. Now, let's get into Vietnam and what they are doing to prepare for their international rate. And then what we got to do, what we're going to do is we're going to touch on this, and then we're going to go back to last week when we shared some information also coming out of Vietnam, because what we shared last week that Goldilocks provided is in alignment with what now Vietnam is reporting today. We're going to get right into it. Vietnam. There's some funny names in here, and I have to read it because we didn't want Peculiar Rand to chop up these acronyms. So, so what's happening, folks, is, and I'm gonna just summarize this. What's happening is that, if you recall, last week we shared with you that there are Middle Eastern countries and also Asian countries that are now going to be their currency is going to be migrated onto Forex, and it'll be completed by the middle of this month, based on a conversation that a major Forex trader contacted Goldilocks to let it be known that this was going to happen. And then last week we reported on it. Here we have now the two major stock markets for the first time in Vietnam's history. Vietnam, the Vietnamese dong, will be included within the Vietnam Stock Exchange. Unbeknownst to many of you, so there's information about Vietnam that we haven't even shared that is known behind the scenes. In November of last year, Vietnam voted, their parliament voted and passed certain laws related to securities, which is for their stock market, which their currency is a part of. These are laws and regulations that passed that also was an upgrade to the Vietnamese Stock Exchange. As a result, now they're able to put the Vietnamese dong on these two stock exchanges in preparation for the Vietnamese dong to become stronger. The Vietnamese dong is already international. It just doesn't have a strong rate. How does the value of the Vietnamese dong increase? Supply and demand, just like every other currency. What is the means for their currency to become stronger so that other countries and other investors can have access to the dong? The stock exchange. So it reads, the State Securities Commission of Vietnam oversees and regulates securities trading. This is related to their currency. It oversees and regulates securities trading on the country's two official exchanges, the HSX and the Hanoi Securities Trading Center. These exchanges, they're in Vietnam, they enable foreign currency exchange through operations at the Vietnam Stock Exchange. This stock exchange where the dong will officially be on, will open the Vietnamese dong to a larger audience, larger investors, more investors throughout the world. This is the first time it's ever happened. A multilateral memorandum of understanding, it's an agreement between parties, and it outlines the framework and the regulations for this new exchange for the dong to be on. This is an important milestone for the global market regulatory network because it's a fundamental mechanism for the Asia Pacific region. Where is Vietnam? It's in the Asia Pacific region. The bottom line, Vietnam will now be able, this is called the SSC, which is the state Securities Commission of Vietnam. This is their official regulatory body. Think of this as the United States Financial Service Committee, the committee whereby President Trump is having the digital regulations to be regulated through. This is the equivalent for Vietnam, the State Securities Commission of Vietnam, where they now will be able to oversee foreign currency exchange transactions through a regulatory process, which means a legal process. And by them signing this agreement, it now officially allows the Vietnamese dong to be regulated under the laws that they passed in November, and for the Vietnamese dong to be offered on their stock exchange so that it can be offered to investors throughout the world. And as these investors invest in the Vietnamese dong, they'll have access to the dong. It will now officially begin to move the Vietnamese dong value up. Before, it didn't exist. Before, the Vietnamese dong wasn't on the Vietnamese stock exchange, that the two major stock exchanges that they're now going to have the dong participate on. And this is from the official official State Securities Commission. The link is right here. It shows and it shares it with you directly from Vietnam, that they'll now be able to offer it. So then, just last week, even Peculiar Ram, you read it, the Forex market is continuously expanding to include more countries' currencies.
Mhm.
By the middle, you read this with us last week, right?
Yes.
So now that from last week, where Vietnam is the Vietnamese dong is one of the currencies, although we're not supposed to say it, but that's what it is. That's going to be offered on Forex, now offered on the stock exchange. Last week, you read where the Vietnamese dong is one of the currencies, or one of the regions of the currency that will be offered on Forex for the migration of Forex. Now this week, we have the Vietnamese dong that would be added on to the Vietnam's stock exchange. Now, what we'll do, and we're sharing, folks, if you recall from last week, the regional analysis with North America, currencies to be added, Europe to be added, in APAC, APAC, which is Vietnam is a part of it. So we see Vietnam, Forex to be added by the middle of this month. That's one. Two, the next following week, we have Vietnam. For the first time, the Vietnamese dong will be included in their stock exchange, which is an international global stock exchange. The Vietnamese dong will be accessible to other investors around the world officially through their stock exchange. They're not doing this for any other reason but to strengthen the value of the Vietnamese dong. That's one. But two, because of the laws, the regulations that they've passed in Vietnam, their digital regulation laws, just like Iraq passed in November, Vietnam passed in November. Just like the United States is behind. The the United States, we are still waiting for the digital asset regulations that President Trump now has his team enforcing. So you see how we, the United States, are waiting on others. You see how Vietnam is ahead of us?
Mhm.
Iraq is ahead of us? But yet you're told that it's a go? You think the United States is going to be left behind? It's not going to happen. But you think of Lady Unique's story with that one particular wealth manager, the initial one, where they came back to her and told her, oh, we made some internal changes. We are aware of the emerging market economies and the investments. Folks, Vietnam, Iraq, emerging markets. Folks, you heard last week, KD, one of our members who shared with his wealth management firm about emerging markets, and had then the wealth manager asked to see his currency and authenticated some of his currency, which are from emerging markets. And just like KD, I'm thinking about KD, but just like he mentioned last week, the member KD, and we've been telling you, these banks and these wealth managers know more than they're letting you know from the beginning. But now when you get to a point where, like Lady Unique establishing her relationships, they've opened up to her. And there's many other members that don't even want to come out openly in the room and share how privately they share in DM, where these banks and these wealth managers have opened up to them. This is why we've been encouraging you, Goldilocks, Wiley, myself, to begin to establish these relationships. We're not just giving this information to you for nothing, to make you feel good, because actually this is so much truth. It doesn't even feel good to some folks, because it's not every weekend we're telling you that it's happening. Because it's not, oh, you're going to wait on a notification. The members that you heard from tonight, many of them were already at that point at one time where they thought it was just fine. They're just going to wait on a notification. But you heard from them tonight. CVC, also Glass Half Full, and Lady Unique. They were right in the same position as many of you, hearing the same stories. You heard from Wiley. The 800 number talk started 18, 20 years ago with him and dropped it years later. But you're still hearing the same thing? Why do you think wherever you're hearing those stories about dates, rates, 800 numbers, notifications, where's the receipts of the members with bank accounts being set up, with wealth management firms confirming that they're aware of what's going on? They're setting members' accounts up. Where are those stories like with Lady Unique, where her private wealth management firm and tier one bank where she's going to exchange are collectively meeting? Where's the proof and the results, like with Glass Half Full? Where's the proof and the results, like CVC and her hubby, where they're playing one wealth management firm against the other? Where's the receipts of these stories of these 800 numbers notifications? The people that are telling you these things, where's the proof? The proof should be from you, the people. Just like you heard a couple of weeks ago from one of our members. Was it Ty? Not Ty, but the fisherman, where he mentioned, and his name slips my mind, where he's going on a fishing trip. Crow. Someone refresh my memory on his name, and it'll come back to me. But
Manny Crow.
Terry Mini Crows. I'm thinking of a cow, many cows. It's Mini Crows. Thank you. Where Terry Mini Crows got so far in his relationship with his wealth manager. Let's put aside that he's going fishing on a fishing trip, but to the point where they're negotiating his exchange rate. Then you have Todd Too Pretty, his wealth management firm. Excuse me. He actually signed an agreement, a power of attorney, where his wealth manager, who's a fiduciary, will negotiate his exchange rate with the tier one bank on his behalf. Actually, he played golf with the wealth manager this week. You're going to hear from him next Saturday. Just imagine the people are the most important receipts. Wiley, myself, we can share all this with you. Goldilocks can share the nuggets and the actual source of proof every single day. It all means nothing if not one of you are able to be prepared for your exchange. It would be all null and void, in vain, all of the effort that we put in, 8-9 hours a day. Where in the world within dinar land do you have someone that's giving you information that makes themselves available 8 to 9 hours a day to answer any questions? Or is it that they post here and there and close the room, or just don't make themselves available at all? Why is that? But you have the people. Wiley and myself can just go mute, say nothing. But you know the voices of the people speaks louder than anyone. The voices of the people that you heard tonight, you hear every week, in the room every day. Those are the most important people. You. If you want to know who's important, look in the mirror. It's not important what Wiley and myself and Goldilocks share, just like it's not as important what the gurus are telling you. Where are your results? The results are from being prepared. Can you imagine if you're listening to this? How do you think it would feel if you had an account set up for your exchange funds to be deposited into? To physically meet the person that's licensed and works for a regulated financial institution to facilitate your exchange for you? And the wealth management firm as well, it could be within the same tier one bank, again, tier one, or private wealth management firm. Do you not deserve to have the opportunity to physically meet the people? You've waited all this time. You're going to amass this wealth, and you can't even touch the person. Like you heard Glass Half Full say earlier, she had this Zoom call. She wants to meet with them next week. She wants to meet face to face. Just like even last week or the week before, where Barry King, he wanted to meet face to face with his wealth managers. You all hear every single day, every single weekend about it's happening. Let's say if it is, why aren't you getting yourselves prepared for your exchange then? You all have choices, free will and choice. The members in the Goldilocks room have made a choice because of the knowledge and the wisdom that we're giving them. That's not just it. God is truly blessing us, Wiley, Goldilocks, and myself, to give you this knowledge. The tribe, everyone who's taken the leap, followed the steps, are actually reaching back. it's almost at a point now where Wiley and myself don't even need to comment so much in the room when people have questions because the members are helping each other. Where in the Peculiar Ram, I know you are a little bit around dinar land. Where else would you find this in dinar land?
Nowhere else, unless they're trying to copy us, and even then, they can't touch it.
Yeah, there is one of those copycat rooms.
They try, but
That's all good. Yeah. Now let's get into why, strategically, why Goldilocks, Wiley, and myself have told you all to go to tier one banks to establish your relationships. We all know that it's going to be gold that it's going to back our currencies in order for the RV to occur. I mean, that is something that everybody knows. Peculiar Ram, would you rather exchange into a fiat system where nothing backs your wealth, where it can just disappear the next day? Or would you rather exchange in a gold-backed system, an asset-backed system?
Asset-backed system.
Why is that?
Because my assets will be protected.
I think you meant something else, but yes, you're right. Yes, knowing you, but yes, exactly. So if we're not at a point just yet, and we're getting there because the digital asset regulations that President Trump's implementing, how is it possible? Do you think that the new banking system will be a system that doesn't have assets to back it, or will it remain the old fiat system?
They will have assets to back it.
So if we don't have the assets, the regulations just yet, how is it possible for the last week, 2 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, has the RV been called in a fiat system?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Okay. All right. Now let's get into why it's tier one. Why you've heard the success of the folks you've heard tonight. Glass Half Full, Lady Unique, CVC, Every Day in the Room, and other members. Why they've had so much success at tier one banks. Let's go at under Basel III. Go ahead, young lady.
Under Basel III, physical gold is reclassified as a tier one asset, meaning
As a
banks
what?
As a tier one asset.
Okay.
Meaning
Gold
banks,
is.
meaning banks can use it to meet capital adequacy requirements, similar to cash in high quality government bonds.
Mm-hmm.
Here's more
Remember I told you about them government. Remember I told you about government bonds. There's a difference between a government bond and a collectible Ralliesburger bond. There's a big difference. Go ahead.
Basel III and bank capital. Basel III is a set of international banking regulations designed to strengthen the global banking system and prevent future financial crises. It focuses on ensuring that banks hold sufficient capital to absorb potential losses.
Folks, Basel III was actually created in the tier one system, was created as a result of the 2008 financial crisis, so that there will not be another 2008 financial crisis. So that as a tier one bank, it has the capital or the money and the gold to back the banking system in the event of a crash. I don't know if any of you know someone personally or remember what happened in 2008. Peculiar Ram, I think you were a toddler, but I took a major hit. I know many people took a major financial hit. If we had gold, that it wouldn't have happened. This is what the Basel III tier one Basel III Tier 1, where gold is being reclassified as a Tier 1 asset. This is what's going to back our currency so that there's not another 2008 crash. Imagine you exchange all this currency. You've waited all this long. Many of you are at your wit's end. You have major ideas, humanitarian projects. You have financial goals. You want to retire your loved ones. You want to retire yourself. You want to help so many people. You have so many plans. Some of you are at a point where now this is it. If this doesn't happen, you don't know how you're going to make it. And you get to the point where you exchange and you have the money in the bank and there's nothing to back it from a crash. Just imagine someone hits a button, something happens, and all the wealth is gone. Basel III Tier 1 banks is a safe haven. Why? Because gold is being reclassified as a Tier 1 asset. Basel III is an actual safety net for the banking system. Now, Wiley has shared some very important information for you all to diversify your money above and beyond the $250,000 FDIC insurance max. But see, folks, you can exchange into a Tier 1 bank where it's relatively safe. And what our members are doing, they've already set up to where they're going to move their money into these wealth management firms, into investment vehicles that are all asset backed as well, to where the money's not even in the banks, but in investment vehicles. It could be real estate, it could be gold, it could be whatever you choose with your wealth management firm. But the reason why we've educated you to establish your relationships at these Tier 1 banks is because the Tier 1 banks are preparing for the RV in itself. It's the new banking system. Go, young lady. Tier 1 assets.
Tier 1 assets are considered the safest and most liquid assets, such as cash and high-quality government bonds. Gold as a Tier 1 asset. Under Basel III, physical gold is now classified as a Tier 1 asset, meaning banks can use it to meet a portion of their capital adequacy requirement.
As a matter of fact, let me touch on this.
Mm-hmm.
The Central Bank of Iraq is Basel III compliant. The Central Bank of Iraq have adequate amount of gold. Vietnam State Bank, which is their central bank as well. These banks they've been like here in the United States. We touched on this in the room the other day. Many of the banks, the Tier 1 banks in your local neighborhoods, for the last several years, they've been preparing for the new banking system. They've been converting regular branches. Some of them have been converting regular branches into wealth management locations and private wealth locations. Well, just imagine this. Actually, if you could think back during the pandemic, you started to see the conversion of these banks.
Mm-hmm. Sure
They've been converting to wealth management locations. Where's the money coming from? How did they know in 2021 and 2020 that there was going to be newly wealthy clients? They started the conversion then. Just think about it. During the pandemic, everything was shutting down. But many banks were converting to wealth management locations. New brick and mortar. During a pandemic. For those of you that are listening to this call, these Tier 1 banks have been preparing for you for the last 4 to 5 years since the pandemic. These Tier 1 banks, the regulations have been put into place for these Tier 1 banks to be prepared for the new digital asset banking system, otherwise known as the quantum financial system, which is also, of course, the banking system that our currency will be exchanged into, backed by the assets, digital assets that are going to back them. I know if you all have been paying attention in your own local neighborhoods, you've seen it. Have you seen a redemption center? I saw one at Walmart.
Oh.
Yeah, they collect coins. Seriously. Okay, go ahead. I'm serious.
I know.
Okay, go ahead. Continue, please.
Implications for banks. This reclassification means that banks can hold gold as part of their capital reserves, which can enhance their financial stability and reduce the risk of defaults during economic downturns.
Mm-hmm. The downturns that we want to avoid, the downturns that they must avoid not happening again. 2008. If we exchange it to the old fiat system, you some of you, you won't even be able to make it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're constantly being told all these different things about the RV and Iraq is moving and there's rate here, rate there, the RV has happened, you see it hasn't. It's not going to happen in the fiat system. Why would you want that? I remember, Peculiar Rand, there were those a few months ago, I recall saying, well, can they just allow us to just have something for the RV? It's not going to happen in that old system. The old system is going away. The new system is in place and being finalized. Once these regulations, these digital asset regulations, the dinar is going to be backed by gold, digital. In fact, you all have seen that actually, speaking of the dinar and being digital, Iraq just announced they're going to be rolling out a digital dinar. That can't happen in the old fiat system. Iraq is converting to a digital dinar because it's a new digital asset banking system. They passed their digital regulation laws in November. Vietnam did the same thing. We're going digital. Speaking of the conversions of these tier one banks, you saw the tier one banks, and again during the pandemic, everything started going digital.
Mm-hmm.
Remember during the pandemic, these tier one banks, you go into the bank, they don't want to accept your coins. They were afraid of getting COVID. They touch your coins. No, that's because they were remember there was a coin shortage.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They were going digital, getting prepared for the new system. Now you walk into the banks, you don't even need a teller. You're going to put all of your dollars, your money into the machine.
Mm-hmm.
You get a paper check, you can just take a picture of it on your smartphone and deposit it. You don't need to go to the bank. Digital. You have been witnessing the conversion of the new banking system since the pandemic. The tier one banks have even been buying up some of the smaller and medium-sized banks, thus converting into wealth management locations. They've been converting so that they can handle you, the high net worth customers. It's not like there's been a large influx of millionaires in America to go to these wealth management, these tier one banks. That reminds me, I remember 20 years ago, there was a certain guru that was telling folks, oh yeah, all these millionaires, they're getting ready. The millionaire numbers have gone up. That's because of the currency revaluation. That was 20 years ago. Same gurus out there telling people the same thing.
Wow.
But I won't go into that. Folks, if you now don't understand these tier one banks as a tier, because gold is a tier one asset. They've been prepared. Why do you think you are hearing such tremendous success from our members establishing these relationships? Accounts being set up, brokerage accounts being set up, trust accounts being set up. They're ready. But many of you that may be listening to this, you're behind. You've been told to wait. Wiley even told you himself where that started from 18, 20 years ago. Now let's touch on Kurdistan. Do we have some members that are present that read and that touched that saw some of the information on Kurdistan earlier? If so, raise your hand. Because, okay, I see you, Zach. Okay, I'm going to go to certain people that I know for sure, and not just anyone. Zach, Mike, in. Okay. Zach, and I know Zach. If we got Zach, we got Amber. We got to have Amber. You guys can unmute Zach, Amber, and Mike in. Mike in. Mike is a master researcher. He does not miss. This dude, he knows every article before we can put it out. I think he got a in with Goldilocks too.
Mr. Pass him the ball.
Yes. So Mike and Zach, you all saw this stuff on Kurdistan, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in fact, let me drop some of this information on the Kurdistan oil deal. We're going to get through this real quick. This Kurdistan oil deal that is hot and heavy right about now. That the buzz is on this. What can you guys share with us? Based on the information that you've seen, based on real research, what have you? And well, first, let me just say, for those that don't know, with Kurdistan, okay, I just dropped into the room so folks, you can see it for yourself. These are the receipts. All right. APIKUR, APIKUR is the acronym for the Association of the Petroleum Industry of Kurdistan. Okay. Now, okay, Mike and Zach, Amber, what can you all share with the people that you all have seen on your research on this talk about the Kurdistan oil deal with Iraq that's buzzing?
Zach?
Mike. Let's see. Well,
Mike, he's laughing already. Amber, what I know you and Zach are here. What have you guys seen?
well, so far we saw that the flow of oil stopped in March of 2023.
Uh-huh.
And there's a guy by the name of Miles Kaggins. I hope I didn't butcher his last name.
Uh-huh.
He's a colonel in the U.S. Army, and he's a spokesperson for the Kurdistan Oil Agreement.
Uh-huh.
And basically, all this is in a nutshell is to basically make sure that guarantees are made in the new agreement to get the oil flowing again.
That's it.
Okay. Amber, you said that's it?
Yeah, basically.
And
It
so
has nothing to do with the RV reevaluating of nothing.
mm-hmm.
Nothing. Yeah, has
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with it.
So so basically they're restarting the exports, which is the in Kurdistan, because they stopped in 2023, and so there was negotiations that they had to a round of negotiations they had to complete in order to restart the oil from Kurdistan. Correct?
Yes,
Correct.
sir. Exactly.
So they finally came to an agreement, and now that's what this is about. This big deal about the Kurdistan oil agreement.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just let the oil flow.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Mike N, you wanna chime? Is there anything? Did Zach and Amber get it right?
They did. You know what? They're getting $16 for those oil barrels that's going to be added that Iraq is forced to pay to Kurdistan, and that's what's going to start back the oil exports that's going to go through that region.
Boom.
It didn't mean nothing. It was an absolute nothing burger that these gurus have been hanging on to and leading people on for over a year.
Yep. Exactly.
I said the nothing is spreading. The nothing is spreading. Yeah.
Nothing is spreading. Listen to you, Amber. You're so silly.
It's afraid to come and kill the nothing because it's
So,
spreading.
and I think Lady Unique, I think you unmuted. Did you want to chime? Did you see it too? Would you read it? Did you do your research?
I read it. I laughed. I agreed with Mike. And when they showed the barrels rolling across the room and saying they were $16 a barrel for oil, and I laughed and I said, "Them is empty barrels. Ain't nothing in there." And then they talking about how the RV is inevitable. I'm like, you all are cuckoo crazy. And people are believing that.
Mm. And it's amazing. So you guys did your own research. You were. I mean, we provided some of the nuggets, and you guys just took off and was like, "Let me go ahead and read this for myself." And what you found is that and this is in alignment with the actual budget, because remember, it's the budget amendments. The budget, the tripartite budget, was approved by the Iraqi parliament in 2023. So it's a 3-year budget from 2023 to 2026. When did they stop the oil exports from Kurdistan? 2023. In the budget, the actual 2023 to 2026, the 3-year budget, the Kurdistan agreed, Iraq, the Baghdad and Kurdistan agreed on oil sharing revenue. And I think it was 17.23%. I forget. I'll just say 17. No, I'm sorry, 12%. 12%. I remember like it was yesterday because I followed the negotiations. I mean, I would stay up until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because they're 8-9 hours ahead. I would stay up and I would watch. I had a screen. I had 2 screens. I had my laptop and I had a 32-inch screen, and I would have a 7 or 8 different Arabic sites watching the negotiations. Farad Hussein, which is the foreign minister of Iraq, he's a Kurd. He's from Kurdistan, but he is actually the deputy prime minister and is a right hand to the prime minister al-Sadani. But al-Sadani is not a Kurd. He's a Shia. So Farad Hussein, who also speaks very good English, helped to negotiate between the Iraqi factions in order to approve the 3-year budget. Also, Farad Hussein, he was the one who authored the negotiations between Kurdistan and Baghdad on the oil share agreement of 12% between them. Now, here we go. 2 years later, the Kurdistan oil agreement for the exports, you all have seen it for yourself. It's just to restart what they stopped in 2023. Is that what you all are pretty much saying?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So how is it that there will be a RV rate in the budget from Kurdistan just restarting the oil exports in Kurdistan? Where's the RV rate? Where's it come from?
From that guy that put it on X.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That guy. It was that the
Gotcha.
same guy that ran behind the rock.
My Lord. Okay.
I'm
See,
I'm a mute myself. Sorry.
but Lady Unique, stay here. You with your wealth management firm,
Uh-huh.
emerging market currencies. The firm that now wants you to be their client have informed you that they have made internal changes and are prepared for the emerging market investments, right or wrong.
Correct.
Are you prepared for the exchange, your currency exchange, if it happens tomorrow?
Yes.
Will it happen with or without with or without assets, gold?
Oh, not without the assets.
Okay. So, with you being set up the way you are, and with you knowing what you know now, and what you've been through, would you say that if people followed your steps, Zach, Amber, Mike, and others who are paying attention would be prepared for the RV?
Oh yes, without a doubt.
Mike, if Zach, Amber, all of you, any one of you, we're going to take this home now. We're going to end this, but I would like for you all, if you can share something with the people that are just like you, where you did your research, you know what's happening. You all have relationships with your bankers. Zach, Amber, you guys, you have your trust set up. You got your insurance policies in place, got your bank accounts, everything together.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Would you guys be willing to share with anyone here out of love? And folks, this is from love. I know some of you don't like what you're hearing because it's not popular. It's not what you're hearing in other platforms. But if you guys would like to share with anyone here to help them to get to where you are, what would you share with them?
I would say don't wait. I would say go ahead and do the research first. Take Wally's questions, stay in the room, build that confidence and go. But just don't wait because we were going to wait and we were falling behind and it just didn't feel right to not have a plan. You just want to make sure you're just ready so you can go ahead and spend that money and know, not spend the money, but, invest, but know that you have something in place afterwards, after
Right.
this happens.
I just thought of something. I was going to ask someone else this, but I think RO got her debit card. Did you guys get your debit cards?
Yeah, we got ours. You can see our accounts on our app.
Your account for your exchange funds to go into?
Yes, our brokerage accounts. You can see
Your
on the
brokerage
same
account.
app as our checking account.
And folks, these are folks that are they have their relationships in place with their wealth managers, with the tier 1 banks. They have the debit cards. They can access their money when they exchange. They can swipe their card and make purchases.
Yep.
Am I right or wrong, Zach and Amber?
You're right. 100%.
100%. Exactly.
Yeah, available immediately.
Folks, would you not want to be like them? Mike, you want to drop some gems on them?
Freedom, I really don't have much to say, because if anybody's listened to this call tonight, I mean, it's been testimony after testimony, and it's not just tonight, it's every day that you see it. And what you see what these ladies are doing and how they're putting things together, and even Zach and Amber, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, they're leading the way.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you're not in a position of what they're doing, I think you should really look at what you're doing yourself and try to figure out how you can get to that same level.
Right. Love it.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Wiley, you want to jump in here, my good man? You ready to take us home?
No, I appreciate you touching all that. It's good stuff. I think people need to hear it.
Yeah. All right. Peculiar Ram, you want to add anything before we go?
Not really. I just want to tell anybody out there listening who hasn't taken the first step you're going to have to get a little bit uncomfortable. I think a lot of people have gotten complacent within this
Mm,
investment and waiting for somebody to hold their hand and to do every single thing for them. And they think they're just going to go into a redemption center and then become wealthy. You have to do your due diligence. You have to stop wanting to be spoon fed
mm,
information, some of the same things that you hear every week, and you know in your mind that you are tired of it, but you're complacent and you're used to getting that hopium, that rush that comes with the gurus, and you're going to get you I mean, you're doing yourself a huge disadvantage each week
mm,
that you stay in those rooms, receiving and feeding your spirit with the lies and the deception and the manipulation. It doesn't do good for your spirit,
mm,
or your mental. So
mhm,
you're doing yourself a disadvantage all the way around, just
mhm,
because you want to remain comfortable. And we put in
mm,
work over here. And
mhm,
as you can hear from the success stories, it's not in vain. You know, we
mhm,
are setting
mhm,
ourselves up for the rest of our lives. And you can't do that sitting on the internet looking for a rate and another date. If
mm,
that's what you want, by all means, enjoy it. But many of us got tired and we decided to follow the way of truth. And
mhm,
we followed our instincts and it led us all here. And I could not be happier. And I'm proud of every single one of us. And I'm grateful.
mm. Beautiful.
And that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's
Mhm.
powerful. Wow. Nothing else needs to say. You know wrapped it all up in a bow. We appreciate that. That's beautiful
Mhm.
right there. Thank you so much, folks.
That's
You've
okay.
heard it. You're listening to this. No matter what part of the world you are in, no matter what room you are in, no matter what you hear on any channels, no matter what platforms, what we are sharing with you, we share it with love. Although, we give gurus a hard time, and we have fun. Ultimately, folks, we share the same amount of love for them because they're human beings too. Just like for any one of you that are listening to this, we know that your heart is into the people that you believe in. Your heart should be into the person in the mirror and the
Mhm.
God-given ability that he's giving you, because it's your family at the end of the day that you have to look out for. Nobody on the internet, on any of these channels, are going to look out for you more than you look out for yourself. Wiley, myself, we pour into the people every single day around the clock. We've done it, but it's the people themselves that have taken the steps to make it happen. So you all have the opportunity um, to be able to follow these same folks. It costs you nothing but your time. And like Peculiar Ram said, you might have to get uncomfortable. And the only way you grow is to get uncomfortable. You got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. We all been there. We share this with love, folks. It's not in with ego. It's not with malice. It's strictly from a place of love. And we're not in competition with anyone. We know we're not. We know we're not everyone's cup of tea because we're not. We're unique. Like Lady Unique, we're unique. But we also have the people who have unique results at the bank and their wealth managers. Nowhere else on and in so-called dinar land, you're going to hear the real receipts and results. Like Mike N told you, every single day, member
Mhm.
after member, daily, with the same results, receipts, setting up for their generational wealth. We're only going to be here for a short period of time. When the time is up and the RV happens, we're moving on to our next assignment. Folks, we love you. We appreciate you. Everyone have a good night. Be kind, be well, be in love. Ciao. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the number one source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RV GCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RV GCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.